I've noticed recently a really interesting trend of people moving to Idaho from a state you would least suspect. And it's not California, Oregon, or Washington. It's actually another red state on the other side of the country, and that's the state of Florida. I was absolutely shocked as I noticed this trend recently. I've recently helped 4 people either completely relocate here or in the process of relocating. And the first time that a client contacted me about moving here from Florida, I thought it was an anomaly. It made sense because of different family reasons. And then a second person contacted me, and by the time a 4th person contacted me, I noticed that there is an early trend going on of people relocating from Florida to other states, and Idaho is on the top of the list. So we're going to dive into why are they leaving Florida and why are they choosing Idaho as their choice. And it's not because of politics. It's not because they're leaving Florida because they don't like the conservative policies that have been put in place by Ron DeSantis, but it's actually for completely other reasons. So number one reason up that I found is how hot and humid it actually is in Florida. And they just were not prepared for how hot and humid it was. It's extremely hot, extremely humid, and sticky. In fact, when I was looking to move from California, I considered Florida. Now, I'd been to Florida a number of times. I like the state from the conservative aspects of it, the no income tax. That's all awesome. I just knew how humid it is, and I cannot stand humidity. And so that's why I ultimately really focused more on Western states, and ultimately Idaho was it for me because of how dry it is here and still conservative. And I just didn't want to move into another state that was kind of trending more liberal. And so I wanted to move to Idaho where it still had good weather, dry without the humidity, and still had the conservative politics that I was looking for. So that has been honestly the number one reason why people are moving, is because of how humid it is. They just were not expecting it to be that humid and hot. Now here in Idaho, as far as the weather, obviously we have 4 seasons, and that's actually what people want. Is they realize, the idea of an endless summer sounds great. It sounds like an endless vacation, but once you actually live in it, it's not so great. They actually want those 4 seasons, and Idaho really does have those 4 seasons. The winter does get a bit cold. I have videos talking about how cold it can get here, but it's not terrible. And we just went through probably the longer winter than normal recently. And that again is not normal, but as long as you can bear a bit colder weather, you're gonna be fine. And then you have a nice spring. The summer can get warm, but it is very, very dry. Last year, for instance, we had about 6 weeks over 100 degrees, but it was dry and it was about 100 to 107 degrees. I was actually surprised by that. In fact, I was wondering if I'd moved to Phoenix instead of Idaho. This year, it's actually been much cooler overall, while the rest of the country has been in a large heat wave. So we've had a number of days, a handful of days over 100 degrees, but for the most part, it's been the 90s. In fact, this week while I'm recording right now, it's about 82 degrees and overcast. It actually feels kind of cool, and it is very dry. The next reason up, and again, this was surprising to me, was how high the cost of insurance is for homeowners insurance. The average Floridian right now is paying over $7,000 per year. That's over $600 a month for their homeowners insurance. And of course, insurers are actually canceling policies and leaving the state completely, just like what's happening in California because of wildfires, happening in Florida essentially because of hurricanes. Now, Idaho, on the other hand, has much cheaper homeowners insurance policies. In fact, that's a big shock for people when they find that out. It's a really pleasant surprise. In fact, the average Idahoan pays about $140 a month for their homeowners insurance policy. But that includes the entire state, including areas that might be more prone to wildfires. In the Boise area, it's actually about $118 a month. Meridian and Nampa is $96 to $100 a month. I actually pay less than $50 per month right now for my homeowner's insurance, so under $600 per year. So it's another big reason why people are looking to other states now, because of how high the cost of insurance has gotten in Florida. The other surprising reason is because of the type of people moving into Florida. In Idaho, we talk a lot about don't California my Idaho, but honestly, the folks that are moving here are conservative. The state has shifted even more conservative in recent years, so they're the type of people that the Idahoans frankly kind of want to move here. Now in Florida, you've got a lot of New Yorkers and New Jersey folks moving in, and I don't know about their politics, it's not my expertise in that state, but they don't like the rudeness that's coming with it, and it's playing out specifically in traffic and how fast people are driving on the freeways. One of my clients recently said, if you're not going 100 miles an hour in the fast lane, you're going slow. If you're going 80, you're going slow in the middle lanes. I don't know how entirely accurate that is, but certainly the speed of traffic is extremely fast, and people are becoming extremely rude, tailgating, honking, and it's driving the people that have moved to Florida nuts, and probably the locals too. So in Idaho, is that happening? Honestly, I have not really seen it. There was one time where I did get flipped off because I had to get over really quick and kind of had to cut someone off, and I frustrated someone, so I get it, but I had to get over. But generally, we all drive a little bit more chill here. There are people that drive a little crazy, and I actually don't think they're the Californians. I think they are the locals that are doing that. So that's been another big reason why people are looking to move from Florida, because they're fed up with the traffic. and they're fed up with kind of the attitudes that are coming into Florida that they were not expecting to be there. And related to all that is just how fast-paced a life that Florida has become. It is not a slow, chill environment. It's not that endless vacation. It really is an extremely fast-paced life because of that high speed of traffic, the type of attitudes that have come in, and just, again, that endless summer where things just never slow down. Now in Idaho, things really do move slower, especially in the winter. It's just more rural overall. It's more spread out. That's why I moved here, because I love the slower pace of life. I came from California, I came from San Diego, grew up in the city, and I was just used to that high speed of traffic as well, that fast pace, always go, go, go. And I really love coming to Idaho and being able to slow down and really enjoy life for what it is. Those are really the big reasons why people are moving from Florida into states like Idaho. There's other reasons, like the bugs in Florida. There's giant bugs down there and tons of them. Do we have bugs here in Idaho? We do have some bugs. We do have some mosquitoes. We do have flies. This year has not been as bad for flies for whatever reason. Last year was kind of bad. Mosquitoes are hit and miss. If there's standing water near you, you're gonna have mosquitoes, but they do spray and mitigate for mosquitoes and take care of it pretty quickly. So it's not too much of a problem that I've found. And again, this year the flies are not nearly as bad as I found last year, for instance, but they can get bad, and they obviously can get bad anywhere. People think, oh, if you're in the rural areas, that's where they're bad. I lived in Boise for a bit in an Airbnb for a couple months, and they were bad in Boise. And then I moved out to Nampa, and they were bad in Nampa. This year, they're not so bad. So do we have bugs? Yes, there are some bugs, but not like you got in Florida. Another thing that someone told me recently was they're having trouble taking their dog out to areas because of the amount of alligators, of course, in Florida. And so that's become more and more of a problem as they continue to populate and spread throughout Florida. Well, those are the top reasons why, surprisingly, people are moving from Florida to a state like Idaho. If you're looking to move to Idaho from Florida or anywhere else, give me a call. I'm a local real estate agent here, and I help people just like you make the move here to Idaho. Whether you're 9 days, 90 days, or 2 years out, give me a call, text, or email. I absolutely love helping people just like you and you and you and you, and I help people all the time make the move here. We'll jump on a Zoom call or a phone call, figure out the best timeline, the best place, the best budget, whatever it might be for you specifically to make the move here, and I'd love to help you out. If you are looking to make the move here to Idaho, then check out this video right here. We dive into more detail on what it's like to live here in Idaho, and I'll see you on the next video.